Makola Shopping Mall traders demand compensation for management of facility after Saturday's fire. A while later, on the international front, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says the blast at Gaza's Al Ali hospital last week was likely caused by a missile fired from within Gaza. We have details of these and other stories coming your way if you stay with us for the next 20 minutes. The bulletin is live on DSTV channel 279. We are streaming across the world on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. Thank you for joining us here on the program. We start from here. Residents in flood-affected communities across the country continue to look forward to further assistance from various agencies. There is, however, tension brewing on the political front as Sanitation and Water Resources Minister Frida Prempeh has come under criticism for suggesting residents ignored a call to evacuate. She made these comments during a news conference by the Ghana Water Company Limited.
I took a loan to start my business before the floods, but I've lost almost everything.
Residents in communities affected by the dam spillage continue to bear the brunt of what some experts have called a humanitarian crisis. They simply need help. Various agencies, including the National Disaster Management Organization, Volta River Authority, and other private organizations, have since been distributing relief items. Sanitation Minister Frida Prempeh believes the disaster could have been avoided.
Kosombo spillage, even though VRA, NADMO, the Water Resources Commission came together to educate the people in the community, did simulation exercises with them, even at Mepe. Yet they refused to leave. They didn't want to be evacuated. They stayed there till the end when we started spilling. Unfortunately, look at what is happening. And government has to spend millions of money on relief items, on education. The whole area, the water is contaminated. And what Ghana Water and Water Resources Commission would have to spend money, millions of money to treat the water before we can pass it through our pipes. So a stitch in time saves 9, but sometimes it's difficult to accept the situation.
You're still watching the morning news here on TV3 with me, Godwin Asidiba. The news is streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. Do join us with your thoughts and comments. Let's do more stories now. Member of Parliament for North Tongue constituency, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, says the Minister of Sanitation, Frida Prempeh, told blatant lies by claiming some victims of the dam spillage ignored warning signs. There's more in this report.
The Akosombo spillage, even though VRA, NADMO, the Water Resources Commission came together to educate the people in the community, did simulation exercises with them, even at Mepe. Yet they refused to leave. They didn't want to be evacuated. They stayed there till the end when we started spilling. Unfortunately, look at what is happening. And government has to spend millions of money on relief items, on education. The whole area, the water is contaminated. And what Ghana Water and Water Resources Commission would have to spend money, millions of money to treat the water before we can pass it through our pipes. So a stitch in time saves 9, but sometimes it's difficult to accept the situation.
These Akufo-Addo ministers should stop adding insult to injury. We are pained, we are distressed, we are depressed, we are devastated. They should stop these things. It's getting on our nerves. We have had enough of their blatant lies. She should tell us when. She should give us dates. When did they come here? She herself, has she been here before? I mean, does she know what she's talking about? And move to where? That the people refuse to move to. I mean, move to where? Is she aware that we were here more than 200 years before the dam was constructed? That we had to give up portions of our land for these 2 dams to be constructed? I mean, the level of ignorance is shocking. They should stop embarrassing themselves. That the people refuse to move. Move to where? Nobody is a squatter here. That point must be made very clear. So even if You had plans for people to be relocated. What did you put in place? What have you constructed? Where were the people supposed to go to? Is government not ashamed that the NADMO camps that they have erected are in classrooms? We are filing a motion for a full-scale probe. It will be live on television. Every Ghanaian will get into these matters. We will delve into the matters and know exactly what happened. Who are those who took these decisions? All these blatant lies will be exposed.
We will be getting more responses on the back of this subsequently. Amidst the ongoing crisis caused by the Akosombo Dam spillage, a University of Ghana research fellow, Professor Michael Kwesa-White, has voiced his support for declaring a state of emergency during his visit to the Shai Osudoku district in the Greater Accra region, where 1,884 people have been displaced. He emphasized the urgent need for coordinated relief efforts to ensure equitable distribution.
The repercussions of the Akosombo and Kpong Dam spillage have sent shock waves across Ghana, with thousands of citizens struggling to find safe shelter. Approximately 1,884 individuals, comprising women and children, have been relocated from their homes in the Shai Osudoku district to temporary centers in Tokpo. These displaced residents, much like those in other affected regions, find themselves without access to essential services and basic amenities.
So we are appealing for people that they should come to our aid and help us with mattresses, if they can also help us to put a structure so that they can be there, so that the school too can be in a possession.
Among the impacted communities in this district are Jokbo, Abuvienu and Abuviekpong.
No money, no food. Even the water too is not good. So always we buy pure water to cook, bathing, everything is pure water. It's a lot of money.
Professor Michael Kwesa-White leading a group of individuals engaged in mobilizing relief items for the displaced citizens.
One of the organizations that supported us massively is the NGO called Food for All Africa. We don't want lives to be lost before we begin to say, oh, we could have taken an action earlier. The churches in Ghana must rise up to the occasion. There is no value in the church if it cannot rise up to provide some relief and bring some smile to people who are suffering. Our NGOs must do what Food for All Africa and others are doing.
He called for a coordinated effort to ensure that every displaced individual receives the assistance they need.
So many organizations are there. I hope that there is some level of coordination so that relief will be brought to our people. The harm that this spillage had caused our people is something that most people may not be able to recover from so easily. But as a society, we can mobilize and put some smile on their faces.
To a disturbing story, snake bites are the most common cases reported in makeshift health centers serving flood-affected communities following the Akosombo and Kpong Dam spillage. The Director General, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaji, after visiting some affected areas, tells TV3 the situation is under control, but there is the need for system strengthening.
The Ghana Health Service says there is no disease outbreak yet, though it's on alert for cholera, diarrhea-related diseases, and malaria. The spillage of 2 dams has raised concerns about disease outbreaks in displaced persons. Contact with contaminated water. According to health authorities, there is need for additional logistics deployment in the area as it focuses on preventive service approach.
More logistics will be needed. Just coming from Bapa, even though they are all well, there's an urgent effort to just do a medical screening for them to ensure that they are all okay. I mean, those who are hypertensive, we give them medication. We're not waiting for a situation where we call it imminent health danger. I believe that the systems are working and we'll continue strengthening it until such time that this whole crisis will be over. For now, we are not seeing anything significant apart from a few places where there were a few snake bites, which had been resolved because of the congestion and the possibility of contamination of water and the spreading of diseases. That's why we have brought them all this infection prevention system.
He emphasized that despite the lesser impact on other areas compared to the districts in the Volta region, all affected persons would be attended to.
3 districts in Eastern and 3 districts in Greater Accra. They are the community. What has not affected directly move them out of their community, but we are disinfecting the community and the area they live, giving them opportunity to be able to wash their hands more often, advising them not to go near the water or walk through the water or take that type of water for you. So, and we believe that if we continue this way, we should be able to avert the catastrophe.
Over 26,000 people have been displaced in the Volta, Eastern and Greater Accra regions.
Away from the dam spillage and its related stories, back here in the capital, Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Clifford Brymer, has justified the planned demolition of some homes close to the Wager Dam, insisting it is in the interest of public safety. Residents have in the last week resisted an earmarking of their residence for the exercise of the national security. The management of the Ghana Water Company has been speaking on the matter.
As a place where even when we spill, it can create problems. And so people must move off those areas. But they realize that if they want to move everybody, that will be taking the whole country out. And so they will want to allow some distance. So they agreed with the Ghana Water Company that, okay, 500 meters from the facilities can be okay. And that's why the markings were going on. But the time they will come and do the demolition, GWCL can be in the known. Because it's gone out of our hands into a security, it's become a security issue. So they can no longer discuss with that. They only came to us because they wanted to see what we can give away. And we said that, okay, 500 meters is okay. If we get the 500 to the riverside, that will be fine. And that's why they started doing the marking. But for us to tell when the action will be taken, I don't think I am in the known of what will happen.
Let's go to the Central Business District now. Traders affected by the Makola Shopping Mall fire outbreak claim that the disaster is as a result of poor management. The facility, the content, faces heavy congestion, poor ventilation and accessibility challenges due to its lack of major renovation. George Quaining reports.
The traders are counting their losses after the Makola Shopping Mall fire outbreak, destroying items like jewelry, perfumes, cosmetics and wigs. Over the years, the traders have raised concerns about the facility's management, leading to the anticipated disaster.
6 of us, again, their things are born this year again. Their things are born last 2 years, and this year again, they are among again. Where did they want to start? I lost a lot of money, more than 400,000 Ghana cedis.
40 years ago. They are only concerned about the revenue they generate from us and not our welfare.
Paying rent ranging from 4,000 cedis to 8,000 cedis yearly, traders expected more from MMC Property Management Limited, who are managing the facility on behalf of SNIT.
The whole place is choked. The staircase has been given as a shop. There is no place to pass. When you are passing, somebody's apata is there. There is no ventilation. You can even see it. All these containers.
The Ghana Union of Traders Association's leadership, while sympathizing with its members, criticized SNIT for creating a ghetto-like and poorly structured market for traders.
For SNIT to put up such a structure is unfortunate. We don't know what informed them to put up such a structure. And then I was even surprised that the fire service were able to come here to even put the fire off. The whole place is not well structured.
Guta leadership and MMC Property Management Limited executives engage in a heated argument over a potential compensation package for traders. You shouldn't accept it. Acting Managing Director of the company, John Appiah, has been credited with supervising certain infractions at the facility.
This has developed over time, and with hindsight, that conclusion could be made. It was purely to take care of their safety needs, which led to this situation.
Currently, there are no immediate plans for compensation for these traders, but rather a decongestion of the facility.
If management is doing their work properly, I think we will not get to here.
2 years ago, there was a similar fire disaster at this very spot. if recommendations were made, I'm tempted to believe that they were not implemented. The fight against market fires appeared to be a Herculean task. Hopefully, this is the last of its kind. George Queenan, TV3 News, Makola.
For the 18th time, this disaster keeps recurring and there should be a solution to it. Let's do corruption-related stories now. Former GIMPA Rector Professor Stephen Adey has been investigated by the Economic and Organized Crime Office for allegations of corruption at the Ministry of Roads and Highways. The Minister of Roads and Highways has requested IOCO to conduct a probe into the allegations. There's more in this report.
Former Rector GIMPA and former board chairman of the Ghana Revenue Authority has been dragged to the Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO. Why is that? Well, the Minister for Roads and Transport has petitioned that organization, essentially seeking a probe into allegations involving the alleged payment of 1 million Ghana cedis by persons seeking road contracts in the company. Professor Stephen Adey made these allegations in an interview on TV3. The Roads Minister has petitioned IOCO, asking for them to probe these allegations and possibly if there is an organized crime syndicate or gang at this ministry doling out contracts at the sum of 1 million Ghana cedis. All of that should be uncovered. It is possible that Professor Stephen Adey will be invited to IOCO to provide evidence or substantiate these allegations to the effect that indeed there are persons within the ministry doling out contracts and taking 1 million Ghana cedis in return. It's an interesting story. We'll keep a tab on it and trust TV3 to bring you everything.
You're still watching the morning news here on TV3 with me, Godwin Asidi. But let's do politics now. Former NPP flag bearer aspirant Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng believes Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia will find it difficult to win the 2024 presidential election if he is elected as NPP flag bearer in the November 4 race. The former Minister of Environment and Science holds the view previous pronouncements made by the Vice President make his electoral fortunes challenging.
Delegates of the New Patriotic Party will next month vote to determine who leads it into the 2024 polls, with analysts tipping the vice president as a favorite. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will come up against 3 others in the race. He topped the Super Delegates Conference and is considered as a front-runner, with Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan believed to be a key contender. Former flag-bearer aspirant Professor Frimpong Boateng holds the view that Dr. Bawumia's past pronouncements could be used against him.
If we are strong, then we leave him and to compete on a level playing field. But then if party people, government appointees, are more or less whipped in line to toe that line, it shows that he's weak and he needs, that kind of support. A lot of pronouncements that he made in the past. His enemies will have to pay those things back. And then we'll see. This is what I'm talking about.
The NPP points out will have it tough to win the December 2024 polls with the vice president as its flag bearer.
We had a strong political leader, a strong economic person together managing things. And things didn't go well. Now the strong political leader is leaving and only the other one will remain. So it's going to be more difficult for the party.
Should the NPP be given another chance in government at this rate?
The NPP, but not in this present configuration.
Let's do some international news now. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak says the blast at Gaza's Al Ali Hospital last week was likely caused by a missile fired from within Gaza. He says British intelligence believes the explosion was likely caused by a missile or part of one. And he tells the House of Commons the misreporting of the blast had a negative effect in the region. Hamas blamed the incident on an Israeli strike, but Israel said a misfiring Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket within Gaza was responsible. Britain's findings are in line with conclusion reached by the United States, France, and Canada. Meanwhile, 2 further hostages have been released by Hamas. Israel says 222 Israelis are being held hostage in Gaza. You can find more stories if you log on to 3news.com. We end the news here. My name is Godwin Asideba. We have a lot more for you. The show continues shortly with Roland Walker and Nashoko. Do stay with us here on TV3. Have a good morning. Bye.
Life can change in just one moment. In one moment, you have everything. The next moment, it's all gone. Swept away by raging floods. Your home